the World Championships, Germany took the big prize, and maybe if you remember back to then, it was the crew of Brockel, Altepost, Herschel and Goldschmidt. And over the years we've seen some new crews come in to contend for the medals. France are of course the senior world champions last year. Maybe surprisingly to some, but it certainly has opened up things. So let's look at who is in contention. In lane 1 we have Spain, that will be at the top of your screen. 2 is Russia, 3 is Ukraine, 4 is Germany, and well, there's an interesting lineup here. Marcus Gross, that really talented 21-year-old, he's going to drive the boat again, and behind him will be Norman Brockel as per last season. But there's 2 new faces in the K4. Robert Gleinhardt sits in the engine room in seat 3, and at the back none other than Max Hoff, the world champion. I guess a little bit of experimentation here from the Germans to see how this runs before they make their final selection decisions. Lane 5 is the Chinese crew. Lane 6, of course, the ever-young, ever-present Slovakian K4. Bags of experience in this boat with the Ritzdorfer brothers, Richard and Michal, with Eric Fleck and Juraj Tar behind him at the back. Well, these will be such a strong boat for to battle through the field. 7 we'll have the Australians. Lane 8 is Denmark, and lane 9 the Spanish crew nearest the screen. And that's Michael Llera in lane 9 of Spain, right in the front of your viewpoint, and he's heading off the boat. But as I say, this could well be down to Germany in 4, Slovakia in 6 being the big boats out here racing today. And you can see the black boat of Germany just taking a short lead out ahead of the rest of the field. Inside him, the Russians in lane number 2, easily identifiable by that lime green sprayed eggs. And don't discount the Australians, they're having quite a good series this year. They were second in World Cup 2 there. But looking across the field, in this one of the most powerful events, 38 of the biggest units that you'll find at a canoe regatta, this is the men's K4. And lots of fans here to appreciate it, enjoy it as the sun comes out at Duisburg, and it is indeed the blonde-haired Marcus Gross, 2-time junior world medal gold champion, or 2 times junior world champion back in 2007. Indeed at Rachicha, he's spearheading the German effort there in lane 4 as they come in down towards the 500 metres, and the Russians are handily placed there out in lane number 2. Slovakia in lane 6 aren't too far away either. They're going to make sure they're in the dust down at the end of the race. In Australia, consisting of Tate Smith, Matthew Urquhart, Murray Stewart there, and Jacob Clear, they're there as well, and they've moved right up to be closing down on the Germans. So the Germans spearheading the race, flanked by Russia out there in 2 and Australia in 7. These are the key protagonists as we move down towards the 750 mark. But Slovakia, with that very experienced crew of Ritzdorfer, Czech and Tar also there, but we're watching the Russians. Timing also important in these big boats, the K4, to move those boats with maximum efficiency, and it's the guy right in the front of the boat on the left hand side that sets the pattern and the rhythm. And they move down towards the 200. And from the screen on the far side, it looks to be with the Russians, taking the Germans through. The Germans in lane number 5, and the Australians with the gold vests and the green boat representing their country with pride in lane 7. And they're moving down now towards the red boys, and it looks like Russia are having it, but Germany have upped the rate. Gross has called it, and he's asking for more from his guys. And can the Russians hold it, or are the Germans going to push through? The Germans are in 4, the Russians are in 2. Will the black boat or the white boat get the win? This is going to be very close, but it looks like it's Russia's day, with Germany second in 4 and Australia, the golden vest of Australia, having to settle for bronze today in lane number 7. So the Russians doing a really good job there, just pulling back the German crew, overtaking them in the second half of the race and hanging on to that lead despite lots of pressure coming from Gross, Brockel, Gleinhardt and Hoff. Just not quite enough to wrest the gold away from the Russian crew, with 3rd place going to Australia. That's great racing, that's what we all come here for. It's for the excitement over the last 250 metres. You can see how the strategy's changed. The Germans called enough, but the Russians look just that bit stronger coming into the final section. And the prize was theirs. And I guess the Germans will have a few thoughts to make as we look at the Australian crew. Again, as you say, look at all the spray flying. Big starts, lots of pumping action from those legs, getting the blades going round, and then looking to hold the form all the way down the course. Synchronicity just so important when you're coming to big crew boats. And you can see that the Germans just had a marginal advantage. They led the Russians through the 500, but the Russians weren't going to stop there. They actually got the foot down on the accelerator. And coming into the closing stages, they took a bit of a lead out of that German 4. And they just managed to hold on to it, to cross the line and take the big medal of the day. The big medal goes to Russia in lane 2, Germany second in 4, having to settle for silver.